Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Good morning, everybody. We're going to start off this morning with a photo sent to me by my subscriber, Sarah. This is Elephant Island. I don't think I've ever seen a rock formation just like this. I think it's absolutely fabulous. Love it. All right, we have some stories again to cover today, so let's just jump in and get there. And for those who were asking, yes, I had a fabulous visit with my son on Sunday. All right, let's go. We're going to start off with Queen Camilla. She attended the Braemar Literary Festival dinner at the Fife Arms, I'm going to try to say it, in Aberdeenshire. How's that? The festival, which goes for a whole weekend, includes talks from some authors featured in the Reading Room, which is the Queen Consorts Project. We all know about her reading. I love it. Apparently her son, Tom Parker Bowles, went with her. Love that. All right, moving on. All right, we're moving on to Sophie. She is still in the Congo, and she visited Kinshasa, and she attended a reception, which for the empowerment of girls and women, we know this, but what was interesting was her necklace, which I had not noticed before. The necklace is a hippo. It's by Hippie Splat. It's 250 pounds, and it represents peace. All right, moving on. Now, while Sophie was in Kinshasa, I hope I'm saying that correctly, she opened a refurbished community hub. She looked gorgeous, and of course there was a dog there. You know how she is with pets. She was ridiculously busy on this day. She started the day with a meeting with ministers regarding conflict-related sexual violence, which was the main focus of her engagement so far. Then she went to a reception at the British High Commissioner's residence in Kinshasa, where she joined campaigners working across the country to uphold and protect women's rights. And she gave a keynote speech there. Then she went to meet with the Minister of State of Foreign Affairs and other leading figures. Then she went to open the community hub. She has been one busy lady. And this time, instead of the hippo necklace, she finished off with a pair of elegant silver leaf earrings. Again, I believe it's from the same designer. She looked fabulous. All right, moving on. All right, really quickly, we know for years, Charles has been talking about slimming down the monarchy when he finally ascended to the throne. So the reports that are being leaked basically backing this up, and people are concerned about what's going to happen to Eugenie and Beatrice. And apparently, Andrew's been concerned about this since the Diamond Jubilee in 2012. And Andrew is apparently saying that he feels that the other members of the royal family are being pushed to the margins of royal life, and Andrew's concerned that his daughters are also going to be pushed to the periphery, maybe by his actions, you think? And what's being said is that Andrew literally has had his breath taken away with the speed at which Charles is moving, and he feels that Charles is high-handed. And now it's being reported that Andrew actually lobbied to have William take the throne, not Charles. His behavior was very negative and unpleasant to the Queen. Now, of course, that didn't make Charles happy. So now that Charles is king, it's coming back to bite him. Well, I mean, what did you expect was going to happen? My goodness. All right, I found this on Twitter. It's pretty sad when the Sussex squad has to Photoshop your picture because you look such a hot mess. So the picture on the right was the original, as always, shirt opened all the way down to try to show cleavage. And as you can see, she was just a wrinkled mess, and so the Sussex squad photoshopped her. What happened to authenticity? What happened to we don't like photoshopping? What happened to being your authentic self? All right, really quickly, a blind item came out saying that Harry is soon going to learn it's the people he hired who have been leaking the information being sold to the highest bidder. And with his staff turnover, you have to wonder what they're paying these people. No wonder they're selling information. I mean, really. All right, moving on. All right, this article came out, and I 100% agree. The U.S. has royal fatigue. Not from Charles or Catherine and William, but from Harry and Meghan. It's absolutely true. They came to the United States. They tried to be financially independent. They're trying to make their brand go. And we're starting to be a bit fatigued from the royal story, especially after all of the Queen's coverage. I wonder if they realize that's because every stinking day we are bombarded with more stories about them. Constantly they are putting themselves out into the press to the point where we're sick of them. Like, who's advising them? Stop, please. And here's a perfect example of why people are sick of them, because they're always trying to outdo the royal family. Always. They're trying to set up a royal court here. So they release this photo, so of course Harry and Meghan have to release photos of their own. They couldn't just sit back and let the royal family have that moment. They're always trying to one-up them. And quite frankly, people are sick of it. God knows I am. My goodness. All right, so moving on, we know that Harry and Meghan were issued warnings, and this is exactly why the children have not been given any titles. Everybody's waiting for the memoir and the Netflix special to come out so that they can determine how much damage they've done. And apparently, from what is being leaked, Harry and Meghan are not being allowed to make those changes. Interesting. And so now it's coming out that after the book is released and after the Netflix show is released, then, because let's face it, that's going to be the make or break test to see what's going on, then they might want to try to thaw the relations with the royal family and come back into the fold. But there's a problem with that. First problem is they were expecting the Queen to still be alive next year, and she's the one that was there still and somewhat of an ally. And now that she's deceased, the rest of the family is not as loving towards them as they had hoped. That's the first problem. Second of all, Harry has written a tell-all memoir that Random Publishing House, or whoever is publishing this book, is refusing to let him edit. And Netflix also is refusing to go back and change what they've taped so far because they already have a lack of content. So the family is about to be trashed publicly, and the family may not want them back after that. Third of all, Harry and Meghan can't just walk away from their deals, and they already tried their tricks while they were in the UK for the Queen's funeral. For instance, an example, let's not forget that there was a walkabout, and the reason that the four of them, it's being alleged and reported that the four of them were together for that walkabout, was because Harry and Meghan had arranged to do a walkabout on their own. And the second William found out about it, he immediately called them, and the four of them ended up going together. And what did I show you in previous videos? Netflix was still taping. They were behind the barrier, but they were still taping, which means that Meghan, and I showed you guys earlier, was probably wired, and I've showed you all that in evidence in previous videos. This is why the family doesn't want them back, really. I think William and Catherine not meeting with them and not having private discussions with them was a very smart thing to do, because that way they can't claim that something was said, and there's no way that Meghan and Harry can make these claims and Catherine and William can respond. You know what I'm saying? Now, they were in a car together for a short amount of time, but I'm pretty sure there was no discussion worth putting into a Netflix special. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be it. And with that, I have to agree with this article. I think it's ridiculously arrogant to think that you could leave the family, trash the family, make a bunch of money, and then come home and suddenly take up royal duties to, again. If you didn't like them the first time around, you're not going to like them the second time around. And nobody is going to pay Meghan for her walkabouts. And I completely agree with this article. The trust is lost. The one time William reached out to them, the one time Harry spilled the beans on Good Morning America. I mean, they showed themselves to be completely untrustworthy. Well, now this article is coming out saying that Prince Harry did edit his book because it's going to end at the Queen's funeral. And apparently friends of Harry are leaking, what friends, that he was devastated by perceived snubs while he was there with his family. And of course, it's not going to be long before he starts spilling his version of the events. Now, this is best-selling author Jeffrey Archer, who was a friend of Princess Diana. There he is above with her. And he's saying he's concerned that the book is going to make the relationship even worse between the family, and it makes him very sad. He says, I know that they're writing a chapter on the funeral, so I guess that's how the book is going to end. He said that Harry was desperate to make significant changes after witnessing the public outpouring of support for the royal family. Apparently, he thought that everybody was going to turn on the royal family, and it didn't work. You know, everybody's talking about this book, but I got to tell you, I have absolutely no intention of buying it. And you know, this article about Harry and Meghan are fueling the soap opera aspect. They are fueling the soap opera aspect. They're the ones making the allegations. They're the ones writing the book. They're the ones doing the Netflix documentary, you know. And now they want privacy. So you know what people are saying to them? Leave California, go someplace small and go find your privacy. The place where they're looking to move to doesn't want them there. Nobody wants them there. Nobody wants to be in touch with them because they know that anything that they hear will be repeated. They can't keep their mouths shut. That's another problem they have. They can't hold their peace. People don't want to be around people who can't be discreet and keep their mouths shut. You know what I'm saying? And now they're saying that they're panicking because they're disrespecting the Queen in their Netflix show. They should be panicking. Because the world loved the Queen. I told you before, their interview where they slammed the Queen, that was their biggest mistake because America loved the Queen. All right, moving on. All right, here we go. One Young World, which Meghan joined when her publisher or her agent got her in there, is now being investigated. Right after the portraits of Harry and Meghan were published. Yeah, not good. They're getting what I like to term as the Markle touch. And they're facing the investigation because the mother and daughter were paid almost $2 million pounds in less than 5 years. Now the Charity Commission launched the probe, and the regulator has intervened amid concerns about the pay and benefits package handed to these senior people at the charity. Now, they're not saying that Meghan and Harry, who were part of the people that were there, knew of their pay levels, which how could you not, especially if you're in there all that time. The chief executive, Kate Robertson, was given a £440,000 pay package for 18 months to June of 2021, despite the pandemic stopping the summits, which is their biggest source of revenue. All right. Her daughter, Ella McKay, one of the charity's two managing directors, got £194,543 in pay and benefits packages for the same period. So the charity's accounts show that even though it didn't have a summit between 2020 and 2021, its top 5 bosses were awarded almost £1.4 million in pay and benefits. 84% of the total pay and benefits were deferred until the next accounting period, but they confirmed that the executives will still receive the full amount. So yeah, no wonder they're being investigated. Very interesting how this all seems to happen. As soon as Harry and Meghan touch anything, there's investigations and there's things going on. Apparently, this organization only has 33 staff members. So apparently, this woman, Miss Robertson, is making way more money than other people who have less staff. In other words, she's getting paid too much. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens when the Charity Commission is done with their investigation. This is not the only charity now that's in trouble. Here we go. All right, next up, I touched on this, but now some more information has come to light. Here we go. We know that Victoria Ward put up a bunch of misinformation. I told you this the other day, that the Duchess of Sussex has announced a $1 million giveaway for women in need. She wants people to apply for these, I guess you'd call them grants. I'm not sure what you'd call them. She said the whole thing was inspired by her Archerwell podcast. It's a brand new thing, and she's teaming up with, this other project, Ving, and this is what's happening. Once again, it's the spreading of misinformation. Harry and Meghan don't seem to mind that it's misinformation. They're doing absolutely nothing to stop the misinformation. But this is how this works. You know what I'm saying? If it's in their favor, they just keep going. So here's what's actually going on. So to start off with, as I showed you the other day, Ving is I don't know if you classify it as a charity, but it's been going. They've been doing this where they give out $1,000 for over 10 years. So this is not something that was inspired by Meghan's podcast, okay? This is done by Liz and Eric Lefkowski. It's funded by their foundation. And like I said, this has been going for over 10 years. This is nothing new. But I did question why, of all people, would they team up with Harry and Meghan? And then let Harry and Meghan take all the glory for their work. Why would they do that? Well, to start with, I found this on Twitter, and it looks like Meghan is trying to influence people to give their info out to maybe get a chance at as a giveaway. And then Ving is apparently selling their info to advertisers. You know, you got to be careful when you put your name to things, because Kim Kardashian and Scott, whatever his name is, they're being sued for promoting Lux prizes on Instagram as part of a fake lottery scam. And then people who entered the contest were promised a chance at winning items like first-class tickets to Los Angeles and things like that. And yeah, no, it's a scam. And apparently people who put their information in were invaded by hundreds of advertisers soliciting people. It was like, so what they did was they sold the stuff. And apparently this guy Scott was the main organizer and got, the Kardashians, her family members, Khloe and Kourtney and Kris and Kylie to help promote it, and it blew up. Yeah, it's not good. So Ving wants you to sign up and put in all your personal information to get money. Anyway, the point is, how did they team up with Harry and Meghan? Well, that now is a very easy answer. Well, thank you to Genevieve on Twitter for this. Apparently, the founder of Ving Eric Lefkowski, I can't pronounce that name, lives in Montecito and is friends with Ellen DeGeneres and that whole group. So other people apparently aren't stepping up to join with them, so they're going to the neighbors. That's right. So let's just keep one thing in mind, you guys. First of all, any money that Harry and Meghan donate isn't their money. It's money that you guys donated to their foundation, which is supposed to go for charity, and then they decide where it goes after they take out their 95%, which they're allowed to keep. So if you give them $100, they'll donate $5, okay? So they're not philanthropic. They're giving away other people's money, not their own. Second of all, this is not her thing. This is something that's been going on for 10 years. And number three, I find it interesting she wants to uplift women when the Valentine Low book and the other book came out that clearly show that she does not uplift women. She bullies women. I think that's well documented at this point. All right, guys, I want those comments below. What do you think about the One Young World being investigated by the Charity Commission? What do you think about this other group that they joined with? Come to find out they're a neighbor and a friend of Ellen DeGeneres. That was an interesting little twist. What do you guys think about the thought process that Harry and Meghan had, that they were going to take a year off and then go back? But unfortunately, the Queen passed, and now the family doesn't want them back. All right, lots of information. I want your comments, so leave them below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you know when I upload, okay? Don't forget that you can follow me on Twitter, Gettr, Rumble. You can email me. Don't forget about my Patreon. All that information is located in the description box. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.